and the House inquiry into the January 6th Capitol riot. It launched its highly produced television miniseries on Thursday night, as we've discussed. Now, this political theater is likely meant to distract voters from the highest inflation in more than 4 decades, surging gas prices, and a border that's moments from being overrun. But did that television spectacle work, and how effective were things in these first hearings? And for that, we'll bring in our panel, George Papadopoulos, the former Trump 2016 foreign policy advisor, and Amy Tarkanian, former Nevada State GOP chairwoman. So thank you for both being here tonight. We'll start with you, George. Clearly, Democrats, they're looking to distract from everything that's wrong right now between inflation, foreign policy, and just people from all over the world running across our southern border.
I think for anybody who actually tuned in, well, we can't forget how abysmal the ratings were for the first hearing. What they noticed was a vindictive display of state power against a political opponent and really a movement. I mean, the entire thing was completely ridiculous. At this point, I think the Democrats are asking themselves who's actually going to perform at the halftime show of this committee hearing, because it was just made for TV. It was all political theater, absolutely no substance whatsoever. And instead of actually focusing on the issues that really are impacting the American people, especially record high inflation, $5 gas, and a foreign policy crisis in the making with Russia and other countries around the world, the Democrats are focusing on showcasing how they are trying to stop this America First movement, persecute President Trump, and scare, I believe, his supporters from potentially voting for him once again. And I think the American people see right through this.
And Amy, the committee chairman, Benny Thompson, was basically saying, we represent the country from coast to coast, the heartland, citing the fact that Liz Cheney's from Wyoming, but nothing about the fact that either they're Democrats or they're two Republicans that can't stand the party that they claim to be in. So when you talk to voters in Nevada and other places out west, what do you hear from them in terms of what they think of January 6th and the current witch hunt, as many are calling it, that's still going on?
Well, I think that the whole day in itself was unfortunate, but most people realize that this is a complete sham and it's a witch hunt. In fact, I even overheard people in the grocery store mocking on the day that it was taking place, because they said, oh, we need to hurry up and get home. We're missing the most important, primetime show of our lives. And then they all sit there and laugh and crack jokes about the whole scenario. I think people are done with this. They're ready to move on. They can see through the left, the fact that they're wanting to use people as an example and instill fear, which is very scary and unfortunate. It's also interesting to point out that George mentioned the poor ratings. So if they are representative of the people and they believe they were going to have the people tune in, supposedly young reruns of Young Sheldon were supposed to air at that time, and that's a really popular show. But the 1 week prior to that, there was actually 600,000 more viewers than that actually tuned in to the January 6th hearing. It's a joke.
Well, yeah, low ratings, but also the production. They made such a big deal. They're bringing in the former head of ABC News, but you had Benny Thompson speaking for a long time in the beginning. Liz Cheney, I believe, went on for over 20 minutes. So by the time they got to that montage, which was supposed to kind of be the big reveal, you're almost an hour into this. So do you think that the way this all was orchestrated, George, is the reason that they had the low ratings? I mean, we know that a lot of Trump supporters, a lot of people who think that January 6th is in the past, were not tuning in. But in terms of, the very liberal viewers who wanted to see this, do you think they were bored after the first 45 minutes?
I think it's incredibly hard to pin a so-called insurrection on President Trump when his own words told the people who were engaging in some civil disobedience, others in violence, some were peacefully protesting, to peacefully protest and peacefully let their words speak for themselves. So it's really difficult to make a case that the president was instigating some sort of insurrection when the president's own words said the direct opposite. And I think based on how the Democrats are trying to make this I call it a direct to a Blu-ray type of production, it's no surprise that no one tuned in, because people are tired of political theater. They want substance. They want the Congress to actually represent what they want and that is to improve their daily lives, to lower gas prices, to get baby formula back in the shelves, and to lower inflation. And that's exactly why I believe the American people tuned out, and they're going to make the Democrats pay for this come November.
Yeah, Amy, 30 seconds. What happens in November after this whole display?
Oh, I think Republicans are going to do exceptionally well. And, Steve Scalise actually had a really good question. Who's actually paying for this production? Because it's against the law to use taxpayer funds to go against, your political opponents.
George Papadopoulos, Amy Tarkanian, thanks for both being here, and we'll see what the ratings do the next time these hearings are on in prime time. Thank you.
Thank you.